The woman you're listening to is internationally best-selling author Sylvia Browne. For the first time, Sylvia Browne reveals all the highs and lows, the mistakes and triumphs of a life shared with both the living and the dead. Her book, Psychic, is a must-read for fans new and old. Make sure you check out sylviabrowne.com, sylviabrowne.com. Keep the feedback coming. I'm definitely paying attention to it, but I'm really enjoying our conversation with Sylvia. Sylvia, I want to talk about the other side. I know this is kind of old hat for you, but this is something I'm fascinated with because there's got to be answers, right? Einstein said the most inconceivable thing about this universe is that it's conceivable. There are answers, and very rarely do we have an opportunity to speak with somebody who has, 300 generations or 300 years of really communication. Sylvia, what is the other side? What are we calling these ghost stories? What is happening on the other side, and why are only some really
the ghost is different, because the ghost is somebody who hasn't made it their trap. But, people make such a big to-do about that, even though it's a small percentage, because you see, if somebody sees a ghost, they get very relieved because they think, oh, my God, we do exist after death. A spirit, though, is another thing entirely. There's somebody that goes directly to the other side, checks in, and, of course, they can come back and visit you. But they're not bothering you, you know what I mean, like a ghost, banging around and doing crazy stuff. But the other side is a real place. It's only 3 feet up off this, our ground level. The topography is the same, but except it's very Romanesque looking. Now, how I found this out, because I'm very practical. In fact, they always said I was too practical to be a psychic, is I've done thousands upon thousands of hypnosis regressions. I mean, from Hindu to Muslims to Episcopalian, Catholic, and you get them into another life, and then you take them to the other side. Every single person, Buddhist, whatever, saw the same exact topography. They saw the Rose Garden, they saw the Hall of Wisdom, the Hall of Justice, the Hall of Records, and I said, wait a minute, this can't be just some big imaginary bubble in the sky. There's got to be some, because the statistics were so, we're talking about separated by continents, by countries, and everybody got the same information. So we don't just go over there and float around on a cloud with a harp. How depressing would that be? We really do research and lectures and everything.
So it's really just another dimension.
Exactly. Except we don't have wars and we don't have jealousy and avarice and greed, and it truly is a place where, the lion lies down with the lamb, all the animals are over there, everybody loves each other, there's no competitiveness, it's just marvelous learning.
And what does our relationship have to do with that? Is life, is the flesh life a school? How does that work? What is the relationship?
Oh yeah, it's a learning process because it advances your soul. In other words, it's okay if somebody just wants a GED and somebody wants, a degree or a PhD. No one looks down on anybody for that, because what might be very spiritual for somebody who's, let's say, hypothetically a GED could be just as great as a PhD. It just depends on how far up the ladder inside yourself of spirituality. I love the prayer, and you probably know this. Remember it? It was, my soul doth magnify the Lord.
Yeah, my soul doth magnify. That's a good flashback. Thank you for that one. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
So there's a I guess a hierarchy of understanding and a hierarchy of souls on the other side as well. Is that where we get incarnations of the Jesus and Buddha, etc.? Exactly.
But nobody goes around saying, well, all you have is this, and look at how much I have. No. Everybody is a complete unit of joy within themselves. And I wish we could impart that to people here. In other words, your joy is relative to you. And the more you get out of you, because all you are is just nothing but a car that you're driving. When you get ready to go, you just get out of the car and leave it. You don't give a damn about it.
common purpose? Is the purpose joy? Is the purpose love? Is there a difference?
Yeah, love and understanding and patience and tolerance and survival and all those other things we don't particularly thrilled about. But the more you get through them, the stronger you are and the more you've learned. See, you're not only learning just for God, but you're learning for your soul because we are part of God. I always say we're a spark off the divine sparkler,
Huh. And now, how does that relate to people like you? And I mean the authentic people who are able to connect. Sylvia, there's plenty of people who say they can who I won't buy it for a second. There's plenty of people who do all the woo-woo stuff and make it a lot more extravagant than.
Oh, yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but see, I want to know how they live in their everyday life.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? I mean, if you're going to talk the talk, you better walk the walk. I don't want to hear somebody that's, and trust me, I'm not against people trying to make a living, but like this one evangelist, I won't mention him, but he's got 14 cars, 3 mansions, his own private plane, and he gets up in front of all these people and says, God needs, you to control. What is God going to need money for?
I completely
that's crazy.
agree. I couldn't agree more. But when you have somebody like yourself, your whole family, but let's talk about you. Why is it that only some people have this? Why is it that only some people? So you had this from a young age. Why is it that this happens? I know we all have a little bit here and there, but nothing like what you have. How does that work? Does that mean on the other side that you're on a higher level, or are you just on a higher level in that field?
No. I think I just took it on. I just decided that that's how I wanted to advance myself. It's just like not everybody is let's say a savant in music or whatever. Like I always say, everybody could probably be trained to play the piano, but I don't think everyone wants to be a concert pianist. I've had because I do 20 readings a day, and I've had so many people say, I think it's great at what you do, but I wouldn't want to be you. I mean, and see, I've never known anything else, and I think that was God's gift to me because whatever normal is, I never was. I was always this way, so I don't know any difference. But I do hate, like you say, these woo-woo and psychic fairs and pointy hats and goofy stuff. I mean, that just demeans. It reminds me of a doctor standing on a street corner with a dirty knife. I mean, come on. We've got to elevate this to a spiritual thing, too.
I agree 100%. And you talk about this blessing and this gift, and you say you've never had the quote-unquote normal life, and that at times, when I was reading about this, I was thinking about Mother Teresa, where she felt very blessed, and she said that her life, she says, I know that I have this blessing in my life because God trusts me. She said, but sometimes I wish God didn't trust me so much. Were there plenty of times, I'm sure, that maybe you wish this blessing would kind of go away? I think I remember reading that you said you wished you would outgrow it.
Yeah, that was when I was 19 because I didn't know how. Thank God my grandmother taught me. I didn't know how to turn down the light. I mean, let's say you have a party and I would go to your party and I'd know who was getting a divorce and who had an ulcer and it just it started making me kind of crazy. So I went back to her and said, Grandma, I'm getting to be an agoraphobic. And she said, look, turn down your light. So I do. I can be in crowds now, and I don't necessarily turn it up. Now if somebody walks up to me and asks me a question, bingo, the light goes on.
Huh. As long as it has to do with them, not you, right?
Yes.
Because an interesting thing that I realize is that you mentioned your own chart, and the only chart you can't see is your own.
No, because, see, that would be stupid, wouldn't it? I would win the lotto, or maybe I would take a wrong advantage of it. I mean, I'm here to learn just like everybody else. Just because, like I say in my lectures, if you lose your purse, I'll find it. If I lose mine, forget it, it's gone.